So I'm going to show you potentially how you could use a seatbelt to install. I'm going to come over here and grab the seatbelt, and the seatbelt's going to go through the first hole, across this lock off, and then it's going to get buckled in on the other side. Just make sure that you're using the correct buckle. Sometimes in that middle there's several buckles, so make sure you've got the right one on there. And then at this point, I'd need to tighten it. I'd need to get it tight. Now, unfortunately, with this particular car seat and this particular belt, they don't work together, and I'll show you why. So as I'm doing this, there's a little button on my seat belt, my vehicle's belt, that's right there. And eventually this would need to come down over top of it. And as you can see, it would crush that little button. So this particular car seat and this particular vehicle would be considered incompatible, and you wouldn't be able to use a seat belt for this installation in this position. It might work in another position, maybe the center or the side, you could try, but I just wanted to show it as an example of why something might be incompatible, something might rub up. Now, if this didn't exist and I wanted to get the seatbelt tight, I'd do it in a similar way to the UAS. I'd come behind, I'd press down, and I'd want to tighten the very bottom belt, which is the lap belt, by pulling up on the shoulder belt. And the way you make this stay is all car or vehicle seat belts can lock. You pull it out all the way, and once you have it all the way, when you return it back in, you'll hear it ratchet. I'll be quiet so that you can hear it. And as it's ratcheting back, if I tried to pull it, it's now locked in place, and that's what's going to lock that seatbelt in place. And so at this point, I would press with my knees back and my hand down, and I'd pull it and tighten it. And as I mentioned before, these particular things are incompatible because of that little button on my seatbelt, but that's potentially how you'd make it tighten. Now, make sure to check your manual. If you have lock-offs, you're not always supposed to lock the vehicle belt with the lock-offs. Sometimes it's only the lock-off, sometimes it's only locking the seat belt. So always check to make sure that you know what's specific for your particular seat.